Well, good morning, and thank you for being here. Appreciate you all coming out so early on a steamy morning to help us celebrate the opening of what we believe to be one of the premier advanced manufacturing training facilities in the country, and at least certainly in Pinellas County. We think that this fills a gap. It's a growing skills needed area in this region and across the country, and we think we've put together a facility here that will meet that need. Before we start, I'd like to just thank you for coming and tell you how much it means to have you all here. This is obviously something that will support two sets of customers for us. Our student customers who rely on us for training and education to lead them to employment, and our employers who rely on us for well-trained students to fill their needs. Before we get started, I want to recognize Chancellor Hanna, who is behind us, and thank you for coming from Tallahassee this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
And there are many other dignitaries here. Appreciate you all being here. As I look around, so many of the people in the community that have been our friends and our supporters are here this morning. With that, however, we have a short time to cover a lot of things. I'd like to introduce to you the man whose vision and leadership have made this facility possible, our president, one of the foremost educators in the country, Dr. Bill Law.
Well, thanks very much. We appreciate you coming out this morning at an early time. I didn't see Roger Roscoe, the governor's rep, come in. Randy, would you report to the governor that we're at our assigned workstations at 8 o'clock, okay, and ready to do a day's work on behalf of the people? And Governor was very kind to say yes to come, and then he was very gracious when he couldn't make it here, and he will come back to visit with us. I had talked with him individually, and he said, Bill, I'll give it my best shot. You know, they're starting to schedule me more and more and more leading up to the convention. I was quite surprised when he originally said yes. So let's have a good thought for him, and then we'll have him back down here in the fall. And you know, as the reason I invited him was, first of all, we appreciate the kind of support, but I've learned an important lesson from Governor Scott in the short time he's been in. So, he came to Pinellas County to do a ceremonial bill signing, but to visit a company around the block from our home offices and to help them celebrate a job growth of 16 jobs. 16 jobs from November to January or February, whatever it was. And you know, when we think of growing jobs in a community, we all want Intel to move into our community with 2,000 jobs. And I realized from Governor Scott, the way that you do this is you celebrate victories, large and small, all the way along the line. So as we put this together, it will be the first of many victories, large and small, all the way along the line. When I got here, Brad Jenkins and I go way back to my earlier service, and Brad had been displaced from his home, and he was in fact, I hope they let you keep the space. He was upstairs in a building next door, and he was going to show me his space. And I thought I was on the set of WKRP in Cincinnati, because Brad would say, and then if you walk over here, we're in the manufacturing piece, and then if you walk over here, we're in the robotics piece, okay? And he was all crammed in. He couldn't really get any traction in what he did. So then, as luck would have it, this property came available. The college proceeded to buy the contiguous property. There was a facility standing on there. Brad came to see me and said, you know, we could retrofit that building and make a freestanding training center that would let us train morning, noon, and night, weekends. We're not stuck on the semester system. We could have industry partners. And I have enough confidence in Brad and what he tells me to say let's move forward. Before I let the thought get away, though, style matters. Brad was recognized earlier this month as the National Educator of the Year in his profession. Went to Denver to receive that award before his colleagues. So, Brad, we're very proud of you. I think that the dialogue started, Mike and some others are here. we wake up one day and there are 50,000 citizens in Pinellas County out of work. And we're a proud part of the community. I think people have reason for their local college to take ownership of that problem. If that number is going to change, and if it's going to change for the better, the college has to be the driver for that change. We don't do it by ourselves, but you have to expect that we will take the responsibility to drive that forward. And we have done that. Manufacturing, in its wide spectrum, you know, we all think of manufacturing as the Norma Ray movie, okay? People standing on benches and steam and all of the, you know, manufacturing looks like science labs. And in Pinellas County, it runs a very wide gamut of very precise training and development that's necessary for us to grow and build jobs and support companies that already have a place in our community. The nice thing about manufacturing is that we can get you into productive work quickly. That is, it's not a 2-year curriculum every time. It's not a 4-year curriculum every time. There are jobs available for people with 12 weeks of very intense, very precise training, 16 weeks with an internship. We will have people in jobs by Christmas who start next Monday at this facility, okay? And there are jobs for those individuals. So our pride in getting this open, the pushing hard to make sure we didn't miss the window of opportunity is a great thing. These centers also bring jobs to our community. Two things happen. Businesses that are already here, corporations, when they're making the decision to expand, they need to know, where am I going to get the personnel? Where am I going to get the training for my existing staff? We now can help them do that. When businesses want to relocate, this is like cheating. Why don't you stop by and see our center, and we'll show you where we're going to do the training for employees if you move here. We'll show you where you and your team can work with us to prepare for your development and your growth and everything else. So we think this is the start of something very important in our community. One of the best kept secrets is that there is a significant manufacturing, assembly, precision infrastructure in Pinellas County. It is not, you know, we tend to think of our hospitality industry, which is of course enormous. This is a very significant industry. So I'm very, very proud. Board of Trustees didn't bat an eyelash. They have been with us every step of the way as we acquired this facility. They expedited it. They knew where we were headed. They have supported us in every way. We have today Captain Bob Fine, who is a new member of our board. You know, he now has a role away from us, but Ken Burke is here because he should feel especially pride. He has a lot of skin in the game with all of us here in Pinellas County, and I'm not sure we wouldn't be here without him asking me, did we get that church property bought yet? Did we get Bill, would you keep me up to date on that church property? So he did his part. I'm going to get out of the way. I want Brad Jenkins to talk about what we do here, who we'll do it with, and what it'll mean to our students. But again, I close. Presidents, I'll do this wrong. I'm starting my 25th year as a president. I have messed this up every single time. Let me welcome some of our elected officials here, okay? We have great support in our delegation. We have wonderful support. From the get-go, though, we have had two have always been part of what we do. Larry Ahern, a newer member of the legislature, but his door has been open to me from the very first day he identified as a candidate and through today. And Ed Hooper, of course, I can remember being in your office shaking your hand the day I was announced, and I was in Tallahassee. And so from my first identification, they've been part of us from the get-go. Let me introduce somebody who's been here for a long time, Senator Dennis Jones. Okay, Dennis, of course, will be term limited out, not so much by the law, but by his wife. And he has, of course, been instrumental to the growth and development of our community. And finally, a personal note, Randy Hanna and I are personal friends from our Tallahassee days. He's now the chancellor of our system, and it's a particular honor for me to have a good friend from Tallahassee who drove down last night to be with us today. So Brad, tell us about the center if you would.
You know, it's always hard to follow Dr. Law because he's so enthusiastic about everything that we do, and we go back a long ways. We've worked on a lot of technical projects, and this is one here that we had a lot of good discussion on, and we knew what we wanted to do. And I really thank him for giving me the opportunity to not only work in the development of this particular project, but also his resources, his funding, and his support. We were emailing each other. You know, he texted me. I think I emailed him back. Not sure. Many times over the past 4 or 5 months, and so he's just been terrific. It's just a great person to work with, and I'm glad he's here. And I think we're all glad he's here. And the other thing is, I want to tell you about this facility. First of all, I want to thank A.D. Morgan. And you know, it's a terrific group of folks to work with, because I had to work with them almost on a daily basis, all their subs. And I'd like to also thank our facilities folks and all of our maintenance people for their work getting this ready. They just did a yeoman's job, and that just goes without. This particular facility, yeah, give them. I've lived in Pinellas County since 1956, so I've seen all the growth, and I've seen all the industry come, and I've seen a lot of changes. One of the things, though, I get a chance to go around the state. We have our engineering technology forums. I head that particular area up. And I've looked at other manufacturing centers, advanced technology centers at a number of the colleges. So, you know, I'm looking at these things, and I'm thinking, you know, we've got a lot of good things here in Pinellas County. I got together with our industrial advisory groups, and I've got a very good group of folks. I got some of our members here today. And we went through to say, what do we actually need to have something that look like an industry floor? And by that I mean, if you went out to a Raytheon or a Honeywell or a Linvatech, you know, they don't have testing areas in little spaces like we do with labs and doors and all that. Everything's out in the open. So our design was to get everything out in the open so we could do multiple type of teaching and training in one site at the same time. So in this area, you can see the signs that we have up here. If you went out to any of these places, everything's identified. So behind me, we got a SolidWorks Design Center. We can be teaching solid modeling. At the same time, here in our electronics area, we can be doing some testing. Over here, we've got folks that once they manufacture some of our parts, they've got to use the metrology. That's not meteorology, it's metrology. And so they can go through the inspection and do the measuring. And in our back area over here, we've got our newest thing, and I don't have anything quite to show you. I said something for nanotechnology. We'll be the first folks in the state to offer nanotechnology. Behind there is our Additive Manufacturing-Rapid Prototyping area. Greg Lewis is our lead instructor on that, and Greg has done a yeoman's job. Greg, raise your hand, please. And we have our graduate of our program, Andrew Becker, who knows more about SolidWorks and CAD than I'll ever know. Those folks really have really done a good job. In that particular area, SolidWorks and rapid prototyping, we got everybody beat in the state. We are #1 in that. Our local manufacturers, the collaboration and the cooperation we've had from, and everybody's got one of these handouts, Caviform, Bovie Medical, Linvatech, TSE, they've helped us not only from a technical standpoint, but when they send their employees here, everybody's got to work on a project. Well, they can work on a company project. And so that means that, and those of you that know something about this, know that if you've got to set a mold, if you've got to do a prototype, it costs thousands of dollars. Here, you take a series of courses. In the second course, you can actually make parts. And so you can make prototypes. And when local companies find that out, guess what? They want to donate material, other resources. They want to work with us, technical expertise. That is real collaboration. The other thing is that our students that go through, guess what? Now we got a pipeline to get these folks employed. And that's worked out very well for us. SolidWorks, solid modeling, we're #1 in the state. Nobody can beat us. And we've got some other things in the future for that, for some more advanced courses. Draper Lab is not here. Draper is down in St. Petersburg, also in Tampa. Draper has a fabrication lab where they make wafers. There's a special process. It's all clean room. I have my bio bubble over here. We call it clean room work cell. We have students that work in there to simulate working in an enclosed environment. We've got 15% of Draper's technical workforce. Our students have co-op. This past year and a half, we've had 4 students. They have co-op each semester. They get paid, not $10 an hour, but around $15 an hour to co-op for like 15 to 20 hours a week. And every one of them got full-time jobs at Massachusetts wages. Now, Dr. Law mentioned something about we're not nobody knows in Pinellas County. St. Petersburg College has been here for 78 years. We still got folks that don't know who we are. How Draper found out about us was through their Massachusetts headquarters. They called the general manager, John Burns, who called me and said, I'm looking for some students. And I said, how'd you find out about us? Because I always ask those questions. He said, well, our office up in Massachusetts called. I went out there, met with them, told them what our students could do, because all technical skills are transferable. Okay? They all majored in our engineering technology, but the electronics subplan. All those skills are transferable. Well, guess what? They're making a lot of money, and a couple of them are like 21, 22 years old, and I've been out to Draper, and they're just doing fantastic things. This is good stuff, okay? Our cooperation with Bovie Medical, ConMed Limitech, for not only their technical expertise, but in the areas of sending their employees not only for upgrading, but there's a lot of networking that occurs in our classes. Most of our courses are at night, and people get jobs that way, and we're awfully proud of that. Training, you see an advanced testing area here. We have an industrial robotic arm that's not here, that will be in probably next week, that's used by about 50 manufacturers in the Tampa Bay area. All right. We also have several programmable logic controller, brand new Allen Bradley logic controller system. Anything that's automated uses programmable logic controllers. We have a company that wants to come here, or a vendor that wants to come in here with their own equipment for training. And I said, fine, you can set it up here. We got plenty of room. And when you're not using it, we can use it for our students. So that training, Dr. Law mentioned, this place is open 8 in the morning till 10 at night, Monday through Thursday, and then till about 4 o'clock on Friday. And on Saturdays, we have open labs, and our training partners can use this anytime on Saturdays. They can use it anytime in the afternoon, because it doesn't make any difference, because it's an industrial setting. And I'd like to recognize, I've got some of my industry people here, and I had to write them down because, there's a lot of people here. First of all, we've got some folks from MEP. Patrick Baymont's here, and I think Ted's someplace here too. That's the manufacturing extension program that's run. They're working with corporate training right now. They have training programs in manufacturing. They have a large truck that they go around, and they're going to have graduates this afternoon out of one of their training areas. Elvid Bula is from Micromole Electronics. They've been a good friend of ours. When we talk about Micromole, they make real small motors, okay? They're in a very precise industry. Matt Smith from GE Aviation, Director of Engineering. He's been on my advisory committee for a number of years. He calls me all the time. He emails me. He says, well, we got these new things going on here. You might want to get into this. He reviews my curriculum and tells me what I'm doing wrong. He tells me what I'm doing right, too. Dan Cavallari from Bovie Medical. Dan's on my advisory committee, Bovie Medical. All of our students have to go through co-op. That's part of our program here. They do it in their last semester. Dan has got our students in co-op at his place, and I think you just hired a second one just this past spring. Yeah. These are good relationships to have. From a technology basis. Oh, wait, I have two other people on my son Adam Jenkins is an industry consultant. Adam, raise your hand. And I'd like to thank my wife, Pat, who's here someplace. There she is. She's had to put up with a lot of my going. The last 4 weeks, I haven't been home much. But I promise I'll be home now, so there you go. The cooperation, technical-wise, there's a lot of technology. We've got over $750,000 of new equipment in this. And by new equipment, the last 3 or 4 years, we've been funded by NSF, National Science Foundation. We've had industry donations. We've had so much cooperation from Dr. Law, okay, and that's part of a relationship that we go back and we worked on technical projects. So he knows what it costs to get the best technology, and to have that cooperation from your president. Let me tell you, I can't get it any better than that. But the cooperation from industry, if we have a technical problem, I can call Matt Smith and he's going to help me out. I can go out to Dan's place and he's going to help me out on the process. And that's pretty important. This will serve not only our academic areas, and we mentioned, not everybody has to get an AS degree. In the past 5 years, we've had over 350 people get our certificates. We've got 12 credit hours. You can get a certificate in 16 weeks and get a job. You can take our CAD program in 2 courses. Before you even finish it off, you can get a part-time job. There are jobs in SolidWorks, solid modeling, and rapid prototyping in this county, and hardly anybody knows about it. Well, I know about it, so that's important. But so we're awfully proud of this facility, and I'm proud of the support that the president has given us, and all the folks that work so hard to get this going. And we're looking forward to the start on Monday. I have a Monday night class in here, and so I hope I get some doors in here. No, I'm just kidding you. But I do have a Monday night class, and then we'll work on during the week. We have every night. This place is going to have between 30 and 50 people working, because they work in work cells. Okay. Somebody says, well, won't this be a disturbance? Have somebody over here working and you got something up here? No. That's the way industry works. Matt will tell you that's the way they work. Okay, so when he looked at it, he says, man, this is what you need. So we did a real good job on that. So I want to thank everybody for their work and their help. I'd like to thank Chancellor Hanna for coming here this morning. I've got to introduce Bob here in just a minute, but when we finish here, we're not going to quite be finished, because I'm going to get you back. I have something to give you that we made. We manufactured something. So not many colleges can manufacture anything, but we did it, so we're going to do that. I've got to introduce our newest board member, Captain Robert Fine, Bob Fine, Navy captain. I was in the Army, and I can tell you, Army captains and Navy captains are different, okay? Navy captains, that's one rank below 1 star, okay? He locked my heels out here and told me that, too. Captain Fine was appointed by St. Petersburg College Board of Trustees, appointed to the Board of Trustees in September of 2011 by Governor Rick Scott, and currently serves as vice chairman. He has been a headmaster at Admiral Farragut Academy down in St. Petersburg. That's the Honor Naval School in St. Petersburg. Great school. He's been there since 1998. During his tenure there, an elementary school has been added, and the academy has doubled its enrollment, now serving over 400 students from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. Captain Fine believes education is not confined to a classroom, and is pleased that St. Petersburg College students have the opportunities to partner with businesses as well as travel and study abroad. And I'd like to bring Captain Bob Fine up here, and I'll turn it over to you, Bob.
My function here is twofold. One is to represent the board, and the other is to introduce our guest speaker. As far as the board support, Dr. Law said the board is very supportive. I'm the new kid on the block, and this was relatively new to me, but I'd like to recognize Ken Burke, who really should be taking the credit for all of what the board has done over the last couple of years, because if I learned anything in my short time working with Ken, he's the model of what all board members should be like. He lives and breathes St. Pete College, so I hope I, fill his shoes a little bit. But Ken is really should take the credit for the board and what he's done for the school. The second one is quick and easy, so I have a quick bio. We are privileged today to welcome Chancellor Hanna to St. Petersburg College, an attorney with an extensive amount of experience in public education. Mr. Hanna was named Chancellor in the fall of 2011. His job is to oversee 28 community and state colleges in the Florida system where 66% of high school graduates pursue post-secondary education. Mr. Hanna has served as a member and past chairman of the State Board of Community Colleges, chairman of the Florida College System Foundation, vice chairman of the Board of Trustees of Tallahassee Community College, and a member of the Board of Trustees of Florida A&M and the University of West Florida. We are pleased to welcome Chancellor Hanna.
Good morning. It's a privilege to be here this morning and just to make a few comments. And I do bring greetings on behalf of the governor. I was in a meeting yesterday with a group of other folks from various agencies, and he made a comment about the fact that he was originally scheduled to be here this morning and sent his regrets that he was unable to be here, but did promise that he would be coming back to St. Petersburg College. I want to just make a couple of thoughts. First, I was very impressed by what Brad had to say. Not only did he talk about the facilities and what was offered here and the partnerships, and I'll get back to the partnerships in just a few moments. But I don't know if you noticed this. He promised his wife that he would now be home in the future. And then less than 45 seconds later, I don't know if Pat heard this, but he said, Monday night, I'll be teaching a class.
I'm in trouble.
So I was very impressed with that, and I'm very impressed with what you have done here. I practiced law for almost 30 years, and I spent a lot of time in Pinellas County and St. Petersburg doing a lot of legal work here. And I look out here and I see a number of longtime friends. And I want to say thank you for your support of St. Petersburg College. When he read my bio, we talked a little bit about how I got started in higher education, which was as a Board of Trustees member at Tallahassee Community College. And when you talk about board members, and board members are really important to the success of public institutions or any institutions of higher education in this state. And I think when we start something like this today, when you open something like this today, we need to go back and think about a number of people who have given years and years and years of service as board members to St. Petersburg College, who are nationally recognized, have been nationally recognized. People like Phil Benjamin, who really was at the forefront of the beginning of our truly having a statewide system. People like Joe Lang, who is still active and gives to St. Petersburg College, and of course people like Ken Burke, who's nationally recognized for his work with the American Association of Community College Trustees. And so I say thank you to all of them. Let me tell you that this love that Dr. Law has for jobs and technology and meeting the workforce needs is not new. Whatever y'all did to him 30 years ago when he was here, he has kept it ever since. And when he moved to Tallahassee, we got to know each other through running. As you can tell by our shape, he's continued to run. I'm not running as much as I should be, but need to be doing more of that. But on some long morning runs, you know, he would talk about his love for higher education, but that higher education is not just what happens in the traditional classroom and moving on to getting a baccalaureate degree. Higher education is also training people in certificate programs and going into the workforce to train people, and that's what you see here today. To our legislators, we say thank you. What you're going to see here, what you see here today is what's happening at a lot of our colleges across the state, and it is the future. And we're going to be coming back to you. Senator Jones, you've been a big supporter. All of you have been. We're going to be coming back to you this year, and we're going to say, you know, incentivize us to do more of this. Reward those colleges that have partnerships with industry in their communities. Reward those colleges that are truly meeting the local needs. And when you talk about meeting local needs, probably there's no college, I'll get in trouble with the other 27, but he said that's okay. There's probably no college who has done it as well as St. Petersburg College over the years. You know, many years ago, higher education was just available for the few and the rich, those who could afford it and those whose parents had gone to school. And really it was here in St. Petersburg where you made education available to more people. And you were a leader in that back in 1927, where you opened as Florida's first two-year institution of higher learning. There were 102 students, 14 faculty members. Anybody know where you opened? Okay. Deer Lake? Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake. And you were actually in an unused wing of the high school, were you not? Okay. Then in 1931, it's not far from Mirror Lake to downtown St. Petersburg. But in 31, you moved to downtown, which is, Mirror Lake is downtown today. And in 65, you merged with Gibbs Junior College. So really, you were ahead of the curve. Most of the junior colleges and community colleges were opened in the late 50s and early 60s. Here in St. Petersburg, you were meeting the local community need 35 years before the rest of the state was doing that. You also led the way in offering baccalaureate degrees. And there's been a lot of discussion about baccalaureate degrees in our system. But let me tell you, the way you're doing it and what you're doing is the right way to do it. Because you're offering it in areas where there's an unmet workforce need or where there's a need for the future. And that's the role of our community college and our state colleges to do that. You were the first institution to offer those baccalaureate degrees. Now, I don't think that people back in 1927 would ever imagine probably what Florida would look like today. I'm a sixth generation Floridian, kind of on both sides. One side of my family lived on the Georgia-Florida line, so it depended which house they lived in. But we claim to be sixth generation Floridians on both sides of my family. I don't think in 1927 they could have imagined what Florida would look like today. You know, in the early 60s, late 60s, in the early 70s, I don't think I could have imagined what Florida would look like today. But from those 100 students who started here, today we educate 900,000 students in the Florida college system. From the traditional Associate of Arts student that is going on to a four-year university, it is the most vibrant and the best transfer program in the entire United States because of the good work with our university partners for people who want to go on to get a liberal arts degree or a pre-professional degree and move on into the workforce, to an Associate of Science program, which we've talked about here, to the certificate programs. 900,000 students, and St. Petersburg College is leading its way with 65,000 students in 2011, and I've had to get used to these acronyms in higher ed, but that equals about 34,000 full-time equivalents or FTEs. You're one of the larger colleges in the state of Florida. Now, we're here today to talk about technology meeting the workforce needs. And I will not call this person out, but as we were walking in, I said, tell me about this facility. And this person said, well, you know, they got some computers and high technology and other cool things. Well, you really have some cool things here. And what you have here today is the manufacturing facility of today and of the future. You know, what will make Florida successful in the future is having jobs. What makes all of us comfortable is knowing that there's financial stability for our family and for our community and for our neighbors and for our friends. You know, people don't think, the outside world really doesn't think of St. Peter's or Pinellas County as an area of large manufacturing. You have 30,000 manufacturing jobs here in Pinellas County. You're number 3 in the state in the number of manufacturing firms in the state of Florida. Manufacturing is alive and well, and high technology is alive and well here in Pinellas County. You know, what makes our colleges work, what allows us to continue to meet the needs of the local community, just as they did back in 1927 when they decided to open SPJC. What makes it work is the partnerships with local business. What makes it work is the partnership with the local community. And today I say thank you. Thank you to the local businesses who have supported this. Thank you to the local businesses who are sending your students and hiring the students. Thank you to those who have put money into this facility. We will help return your investment many times over. Many times over. This is the future of Florida. When somebody comes to this state or somebody's looking to expand, we need to make sure that there's a facility just like this in every one of our major areas, where those partnerships can continue to be developed and where our children and our neighbors and our friends can have a sound financial future, and Florida can lead the way across the United States in the development of jobs. I am honored to be here today. I am excited about the future of this facility. I'm excited about the future of the Florida college system with our 900,000 students. I want to tell you one last thing as I close. You know, we do a lot of different things in the system. As I said, we educate the traditional AA students who move on to the university, and we do the certificate programs. And we do just-in-time training. You don't have to have a certificate. We'll move into your workplace and do the just-in-time training for you if you have specialized training. One thing I'd encourage you to look at, what we've been trying to do is to show the value of the Florida college system as far as the salaries that the students who graduate from our programs the salaries and the job placement rates that our students have. And I'd urge you, you can Google this, but it's called smartcollegechoices.com. I'd encourage you to go there and look at the value of a certificate program from St. Petersburg College. Look at the value of a certificate program or an Associate of Arts degree or any of our programs from our system. You can see the placement rates. You can see the average salary that those students are all making. The success of Florida is in this room today. It's you as the industry partners, and it's the college system and St. Petersburg College as your partner working together to make Florida better. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and congratulations to all of you.
Tell us what we're going to do here,
Okay.
Brad. Okay.
Okay, you know, in any facility, you always want to leave somebody with a gift. So we manufactured a part. I didn't, Greg Lewis and Andy Becker did. And well, we're going to take the Chancellor back into our manufacturing, additive manufacturing area, and we're going to let him, you're not going to get shocked or anything, but we're going to let him open up our cavity of one of our machines, and we got something there for you. So if you want to come with me,
Absolutely.
and we'll talk real loud back there. Yeah, it's a little warm. It says Chancellor Hanna.
Which is not my first name, by the way.
No, but I thought it looked better than that, you know. And so, then the other thing we always like to give anybody who comes in here.
Thank you very much.
This is a technical sheet that shows you what the dimensions of the drawing is, what it was made of. There's a 3D model. There's the angles. There's your nameplate, the date it was done, and that was done by Andy Becker, who's right there.
Thank you, Andy.
And
Andy, come on over.
yeah. Andy is a graduate. He's a graduate of our AS degree program in engineering technology. He's working toward his engineering degree. Just finished up all his calculus. He's got like a 4.0 average, and so we hate to lose him as a work study student. But so anyway, this is your technical sheet.